Junior Johnson is credited for once saying, "The best way to make a small fortune in racing is to start with a big one." Surprisingly, that saying is still true today. We found out just how true back in October at a press conference with Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon, 23XI Racing investor Curtis Polk, Joe Gibbs Racing president Dave Alpern, and Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing president Steve Newmark. The four men are part of a subcommittee from the Race Team Alliance, which was formed in 2014 to act on behalf of the teams and handle discussions on various topics with NASCAR. The latest topic of conversation was NASCAR's current television contract that runs through the 2024 season. In preparation for a new deal that will start in 2025, teams have been in talks with the sanctioning body all year about increasing their portion of the pie. Currently, the split is 65% to tracks, 25% to teams, and 10% to NASCAR. Remember, NASCAR owns numerous tracks. Gordon and the others spoke to the media because they wanted to address the situation in a more public manner due to a lack of progress behind closed doors. According to reports, the group had presented a 7-point plan on a new revenue-sharing model to NASCAR back in June. NASCAR had not responded until a week before the press conference. In that counteroffer, the sanctioning body offered a minimal increase in revenue and placed an emphasis on cost cutting, which would likely come in the form of layoffs, and has already taken place at multiple organizations. "We've already had substantial cuts. We are doing more with less than we have in 30 years, Alpern said. The JGR executive made another alarming statement about the business model, which is dependent on sponsorship for around 60 to 80% of most NASCAR teams' annual revenue. He said that he is terrified of what happens after Coach Gibbs is gone. I'm talking about survival. Unbelievably, Alpern's remarks weren't even the most shocking from the group. That came from the Hendrick Motorsports vice chair. Gordon admitted that HMS has not had a profitable season in years. He said it will lose money again in 2022 despite the cost-cutting next-gen car. Think about that. The winningest Cup team in the sport's storied history, which has won 2 out of the last 3 championships, hasn't turned a profit in years. Each member of the 4-member committee acknowledged this new TV deal is a pivotal moment in the sport's history. The teams are bluntly admitting they can no longer survive on such a sponsor-dependent model. Enter Emmitt Smith. The Dallas Cowboys legend grew up a football fan in Florida, but also had a passion for NASCAR. That's why he jumped at the opportunity in 2021 to partner with Jesse Iwuji for the 2022 Xfinity Series season in a sport that he respects because of its physical nature like the NFL.
So seeing those big tracks and knowing these cars are flying around at 190-something, almost 200 miles an hour, and these guys are so talented, I couldn't drive that fast. I just could not do it. But I know my talent. I know my lane. I'm going to stay in my lane and put Jesse in the car, let Jesse drive, and let Jesse enjoy himself. But that's his job.
In February, the team officially launched its Xfinity program at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. It turned out to be a tough season for the first-year team of Jesse Iwuji Motorsports. The 35-year-old lieutenant commander in the U.S. Navy Reserve, who played safety at the U.S. Naval Academy before serving 7 years of active duty, ran a part-time schedule in the number 34 car, splitting duties with Kyle Weatherman. The pair combined for a single top 10 finish and 7 DNFs. Struggling in a team's first season isn't surprising. However, according to a recent report, the organization was surprised in September when Equity Prime Mortgage, which was the main sponsor for 14 races in 2022, informed Iwuji Motorsports that it would not be able to fulfill its sponsorship obligations and forego the remaining payments totaling $4+ million owed for the remainder of the 2022 season and all of the 2023 season. Iwuji Motorsports filed a lawsuit in Florida this week seeking the $4.125 million owed. Jeff Gordon and others talked about it in October, how the sponsor-dependent model is just not sustainable going forward. Emmitt Smith and Jesse Iwuji are feeling the direct effects of the broken business model. Whether or not Smith and Iwuji will ever recover that money remains to be seen. What is abundantly clear is relying on sponsors, which can sometimes be unreliable, is a dangerous situation, and in order for teams to avoid losing millions of dollars overnight in the future, NASCAR must be willing to share more of the pie in the upcoming TV deal, or the sport as we know it could be in serious trouble.